Hey everybody, today is the 14th of December 2020. This is Rick, also known as Duke City Devil Dog. We are in Taylorville, Indiana, and we're shut down for the night. Stay tuned and we'll talk a little bit about what's been going on. Hey everybody, so just want to share a few things, just as always. But before we get started, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Hit the little subscribe button down below. Hit the bell icon. You'll be notified when I post the videos. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, just leave comments below, and I'll try to get to them as quickly as I can. Always ask questions before you give me a thumbs down if you do. But and any kind of constructive comments, those always are very helpful. So anyway, as I mentioned, I'm in Taylorville, Indiana. That's just near Columbus, Indiana, about an hour south of Indianapolis. Picked up a load this morning in Lansing, Michigan. Started in Lansing, Michigan, dropping off a load this morning. Picked up a load in Grand Rapids, Michigan, headed towards Atlanta, Georgia. So we're due there early the day after tomorrow, but we're going to try to get there tomorrow, drop it off. It is a drop and hook, so we'll see what we can do, and then try to get some and run it a little bit, and then we're going to need to take a 34. And just want to talk about a couple of things. I had an interesting conversation with my asset manager. So that's a term that I got to get used to. You're going to have to get used to if you watch my videos, or if you know anything about truck driving. Most of the time, you have a driver manager. Here at Crete, you have an asset manager, and it's nice that they consider you an asset, and they try to treat you that way. But I had a conversation with my asset manager. Right now I have what's called an onboarding asset manager, and you have that for a while when you first get in with the company. And just to learn the ropes and that kind of stuff. So we had a little bit of a conversation today about running, about the way, the amount of miles we've done in the last 2 weeks, and how to get that a little bit better and try something a little bit different. So let's talk a little bit real quick about hours of service, and just to refresh you if you don't know about them, but and what I've done in the past, and what we're sort of looking at trying to change a little bit. So hours of service, very clearly, you can during a day you can drive up to 11 hours in a 24-hour period, not 12 midnight to 12 midnight, no, in a 24-hour period. So you can drive up to 11 hours, and you can drive and you can be on duty up to 14 hours. Now there's some changes and stuff like that, but those are the two numbers you really need to know. And you can do those two things before you have to take a 10-hour break. Once you take a 10-hour break, you can reset those numbers. Okay, you get a new 11-hour clock on your drive, new 14-hour clock on your on-duty, and again, your drive time counts towards all that on-duty time. So you get about 3 hours, give or take, of extra time to do things like inspections, dealing with shippers or receivers, paperwork, fueling, weighing the load, all that kind of stuff that you need to do as part of this. So that's what that's what you end up having. And then you have what's called a 70-hour clock, and that's you can be on duty, that includes your drive time, up to 70 hours in an 8-day period. Okay, and that's a rolling 8-day period. So what does that mean? Well, if on day one of your 8-day period you are on duty, including driving, let's say 10 hours, okay, and you go through on that 9th day, you're going to get that 10 hours back. That's going to fall off the front, and it's going to be at the end. So that 10 hours will go addition. It'll add to your 70-hour clock. Now, if you don't have time like that, then the only way to reset the 70-hour clock is to take a 34-hour reset. That means 34 hours just sitting, not doing anything, just resting, relaxing, and at the end of that 34-hour reset, you get a new 70-hour clock. If you don't do a 34-hour reset, then what you have to do is you have to rely on all that time you get back as it falls off. So as you go through an 8-day period, as you go to the 9th day, that first day falls off, so you get that time back. You go to the next day, that second day falls off, and it just goes like that, and it just keeps, and you get whatever you had that, in that case. And using that time to run is what we call using recaps. You're recapturing that time, okay? And a lot of people like to run on recaps because they feel like they never have a day where they're down, where they're not driving, because they always have some time. Now, some people like that, some people don't. I've always enjoyed a 34-hour reset. I used to take one, every couple weeks, or whatever. But I always liked the 34-hour reset just to sort of relax a little bit and get running. And I just wasn't a big fan of recaps. But the other part about that is what I was doing with Stevens Transport when I was running for them didn't necessarily, to me, allow a lot of recaps. And why do I say that? And I know people that are driving for Stevens, and I know that there are trainers for Stevens who teach their students, run 8 or 9 hours a day. That way you always have recaps and you're never having to take a 34. It works sometimes. The tough part is some of the stuff that Stevens runs, they don't do a whole ton of drop and hook unless you're running Purdue, or you're running, Purdue dedicated, Craft dedicated, something like that. Most of what you're running is you may pick it up, but you're going to have a live unload or 2 unloads or whatever, or you're basically sitting, even though you're not in the dock with the trailer, you're sitting on basically what's a live load. You're picking up meat in the Midwest or in the meat patch, or chicken on the East Coast, and what happens is you have a DLD, a deadline departure, and that's the latest that load can be ready, that you can reasonably get it on time to the receiver. Well, those DLDs, a lot of times you get to the Midwest and you're sitting there, not always in enough time to get a 34, but you're sitting there waiting for it to be ready. And then once it's ready, you got to run it, and you got to run it pretty hard to get it there on time sometimes. So, you can't always take an 8 or 9 hour, just drive 8 or 9 hours, because you have to worry about getting it there on time and meeting an appointment time and dealing with the time that it takes for a live load and unload, and all that all takes time. Even though some of it's off the clock and whatever, it still takes time, and you end up running out of your 70 a lot faster. Or you get these days where you're sitting waiting. Let's say you're waiting for a load in the meat patch, and you take your 10-hour, but you're sitting there for a day, and then all of a sudden you got a day in the middle of your recaps where you've got no drive time, or you've got an hour and a half of drive time or of on duty time. So when it comes time to recapture that 8 days later, you're going to get an hour and 20 minutes, and that ain't going to help you at all. So then you got to start looking at a 34. Well, here at Crete, they really want to push the idea of recaps, and it's not something I'm used to. Okay, my DMs, my driver managers at Stevens knew they could rely on me to run really hard, and I could run 650, 675 during the day if I needed to. It depends, to get a load where it needed to go. I would just run it as hard as I possibly can, and I can get it there, and that's what I got used to. Well, this is going to be a little bit different, and it's probably going to be good. I'm probably going to like it when I get to the point. Although 34s are going to become farther and farther. There's going to be more time between 34s than what I'm used to. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm going to work on starting to try to do recaps. I've been running recaps for the last about 4 days, and I'm getting ready to come to a day where not tomorrow or the day after, but 3 days from now, I'm only going to get an hour back, and at that point in time, I'm going to have to do a 34. But in this case, we may do a 34 under load, which means I already grab a load, run it a ways, and then be able to sit on it for 34 hours and get my reset done, and then finish the load. That's one of the good things too about the number of drop-in hooks with Crete. I've only done 10 loads with Crete, so it's not a lot, but only 2 of those loads have had live unloads. Everything else has been drop-in hook. So because of that, there's a little bit more flexibility with appointment windows, and that may help with also learning how to do recaps a little bit better than what I was used to. I just wasn't a big fan of them. I just didn't. I didn't like the idea of going, oh man, I only got 6 hours to run today. I always wanted to go, hey, I want to run as hard as I can, as far as I can, and get ahead of the curve, and then maybe get off the load and then get something new so I can go back the other way. So just the way it is. But anyway, we're going to learn and we're going to see. But for now, we're going to go ahead and try to get a good night's rest here in Indiana. Had a little bit of snow up in Michigan today. I haven't set up my cameras in this truck, and I'm going to wait for a little while to set them up. And once I do, we'll get some good footage. But I wish I did have them today. I got a chance to drive along the eastern coast of Lake Michigan. A few days ago, I drove up the western coast a little bit, but this time I went down and I got to see some of it, and it was really beautiful. So I'm enjoying my time with Crete. Hopefully you're liking the videos. If you have any suggestions or there's anything you want me to cover, let me know. Okay, and we'll do our best to see. We can talk about all sorts of stuff you can have for your truck, that kind of thing. I just installed a TV in here. Managed to get a 40-inch TV in here, so pretty good size. But I've seen people get a lot bigger. I've seen people mount 60-inch TVs in trucks that they own. They mount it up in the cowl above their head over here, and then they sit back in the bunk when they're off, and they look up. I'd hate to have that thing above my head jostling as you're going down the road, but they do it. They do it. They like to do it. So I thought I was really impressed with a 40-inch. So we'll check it out there. Anyway, I hope if you're that you're being safe. I know my uncle and my aunt are dealing with the COVID right now, with COVID-19. If you're heading home for the holidays, be careful. Please be careful. Limit your exposure and that kind of stuff. But should be home for the holidays. So that's one of the things I like about Crete. If you want to be home for Christmas, they're going to they promise, as much as they can that they're going to get you at least home for Christmas Day. So we'll see how that goes. I haven't taken any time off, so hopefully I'll get my home time during that period of time. Take about 5 days off. We'll see. Anyway, hope you guys are like I said. Hope you guys are safe. Hope you're healthy. And like I said, give me a thumbs up, subscribe. Hit the bell icon if you want to be notified when I post. So this is Rick, also known as Duke City Double Dog. I am in Taylorsville, Indiana, and I'm driving for Crete Carrier, and I'm psyched. You guys have a great one. I will talk to you later.